All right, it is Sunday, February 25th. I took an entire day off. Yesterday I did absolutely nothing. I was supposed to do my bench press, and I just took a day of rest. I turned my phone off. I didn't get online. I didn't look at comments. I didn't talk to any friends. I think I went through like a little mini depression. I had this thing where I had to reevaluate my life and figure out what the hell I'm doing, because I had a really bad squat session. And as you can see, I'm doing my squat training, and things look like they're proceeding rather well at the lighter weights. But then when I get into my working sets, I was supposed to do 535 pounds for a set of 4. No big deal, right? But I wasn't hitting depth. So then I wasn't happy with that, so I did a second set, and I was certain, like absolutely certain, I'm going to bury these. And I did them, and then I watched the video, and I was like, parallel. And it was just blowing me away. I couldn't believe it. I just sat there and just thought, like, what am I doing wrong? And then I posted the videos, and then I got back to the guys that are helping me train, and we had a little bit of a falling out. One of them left the group. The other one, I had a really long, awesome conversation with Rockman. And Rockman, I want to thank you for kind of screwing my head on straight. I thought long and hard about everything we talked about, and I reevaluated everything we're doing. And really what it comes down to is we had bad communication. Doing everything on Discord, texting, everybody kind of messaging everyone back and forth. I wasn't understanding them, and we didn't have a form of communication where both sides were being heard, if that makes sense. And that's super important. It's one of the problems, and I run into this at work a lot, with these Zoom meetings and emails, and people that work out of state, and there are people that are really high in the chain of command, and you got to be super careful the way you talk to them, and lots of politics and feelings. And so there's an issue with texting where it can be really super easy to misinterpret things like tone, emotions, that kind of thing. You can read a sentence, and if you're in a bad frame of mind, you might read it with the same emotions that you have, and you might think somebody's coming off as angry or condescending, when in fact they're not, or they're kidding around, and maybe you take it wrong. It's super easy to misinterpret somebody over text messages, which is why I always tell people, like, just direct. Tell me what you want me to do. You don't have to beat around the bush. You don't need hyperbole. You don't need to be passive aggressive. You can just simply tell me, and I'll do it. I'm that guy. I'm that guy you say, hey, take this stick and smack that dude over there, and I will just go funk. And you're like, no, we were kidding. Stop. Get him. I'm that guy. You simply put, you just tell me what to do, and I'll do it. So, what was the argument about? Well, they had wanted me to drop the weights and focus on parallel, getting underneath parallel, ass to grass squatting. And in my head, I was thinking, well, no, I'm working with weights that I don't have a problem with. Squatting 535, that's like nothing. I was opening with 545, like that's weight I've been working with that was in my, this is what I'm thinking. That's not the weight, I'm doing something wrong. And we kind of went back and forth. I felt like they weren't understanding me, and they felt like I wasn't listening to them, and it was like we were kind of talking over each other. And after talking with Rockman yesterday for like quite a while, I kind of realized, like, no, okay, so two things can be true at the same time. So what I had come up with after thinking about it for a long time is after a certain weight, say 500, somewhere in there, I normally open my hips up when I'm squatting, which allows me to dip into below parallel. And I do that naturally at the lighter weights. I don't think about it. Well, once I get heavy enough to where it's, you got to really tighten the core up, I realized that I was missing that cue. I'm not opening up my hips when I squat, which kind of prevents me from getting depth. And I was looking at the bar path, I was looking at where I was putting the bar on my back, and I was changing the center of gravity, moving it back and forth. And it's like nothing I was doing was hitting depth, and it just was baffling me. Like, why can I not hit depth at a certain weight? And finally this light bulb went off, and I'm like, oh, not opening up the hips. And they're thinking, well, no, you just can't handle the weight. You need to drop the weight and focus on ass to grass squatting and then work your way up. And I was, after thinking about it, I'm like, well, yeah, that's kind of true. I mean, that would be true if I dropped the weight and then progressively worked my way up. That natural intrinsic built-in cue at the lighter weights would travel with me. But I really do believe that if I remember to open up my hips the next time I squat, I'm almost willing to bet every single dollar I've ever made that I'm going to hit depth with no problem. I bet. But I did agree, like Rockman was right, he said you need to get a win because I'm messed up psychologically. Like, this really affected me. I actually kind of went into a little mini depression. He's like, drop the weight, do a bigger set. I lowered the weights that I'm working with in the Candido program. So when I squat on Tuesday or Monday, see, today's Sunday, so I'll be benching. Tomorrow I'll be squatting. I'm going to drop my set and work with 500 pounds and then complete the workout. I have no problems hitting depth at 500. If I do the first set at 500 easy, I might increase the weight for the second and third set, which will then both satisfy the depth, lowering the weight, and it will also prove whether or not I was right or wrong. So it kind of will kill two birds with one stone, theoretically. That's a really jumbled way of explaining everything. I apologize if none of it makes sense, but none of it did make sense. It was really killing me, man. Like, I have squat 600 pounds in competition, and even though it was only 2 white lights, and yes, the depth was questionable, I still hit it. And I've never bombed out of a meet. I've never once bombed out of a single meet. So there is that to consider. But the whole point of doing this training was to make it so that I never have problems with depth again. And I think I failed one of my friends on that, and he got frustrated and he left the group. And it does kind of bum me out. But to him, I would say, look, I'm extremely grateful for all the help you've given me, and I really do respect your ideas and your methods and the way you train. If you're going to have someone help you, if you're going to have someone coach you, make sure they actually share the same passion you do, or at least are interested in your sport, because his disdain for heavy lifting is palpable. You know what I mean? Like, he thinks that what powerlifters, he's like, nobody cares about powerlifting and it's stupid. And that's fine. That's his opinion. Like, there's a lot of people do think it's stupid. But it's sort of like when you're having someone coach you and they're kind of talking down to you all the time. I realized, like, it was kind of getting to me mentally, and I was getting down on myself. And I realized, like, I should probably be with people that are at least encouraging. You know what I mean? Because I'm letting it affect me mentally. He would send me videos of other real good lifters. And I didn't understand that he was trying to get me to watch them and see how they train to correlate, like, the difference between the way they do it and the way I do it. And he would say condescending things like, do you think you're better than that guy? I'm like, wow, I don't compare myself to other people. And he's like 20 years younger than me. I think I'm pretty good. I'm one of the best at my age. Like, sorry if that's not competitive with, like, elite level outlier athletes at the top of their sport in the open division. I mean, like, I think I'm okay, but it's just like a weird way. It's a weird way to try to coach someone. Just belittle them and berate them and tell them how stupid you think they are the entire time. And I was letting it get to me, and I didn't realize it. Like, it wasn't until I took yesterday off and I really thought about everything that I realized, like, I was letting the negativity kind of affect me, and that's on me. Like, that's my fault. That's nobody else's. But it still doesn't change the fact that I am profoundly grateful, and I found his knowledge and some of the things that he came up with to be immensely beneficial, and I'll still use them moving forward. Absolutely, 100%. So thank you. I really do appreciate your help. Hope you consider coming back. I still consider you a friend, and I still respect you, even though you have no respect for me whatsoever. That's cool. My parents don't even like me, so I still talk to them. All right, we're gonna get back on the horse. Today's a new day. I'm rested, I'm energized, I'm ready to go. I do have a lot of honeydew shit to do today, so I don't know, but at some point we're gonna do some bench pressing, and we're gonna get back after it. If you got anything out of this, throw me a subscription, throw me a like. I love you guys. I'll see you on the battlefield.